Greetings, fellow survivors on Vulcan's surface. Rodamon here. Thank you for tuning in to Stationeer Brutal Vulcan, episode 22, installing the base's triple stacked heat sinks. So if I analyze the atmosphere in the base, as you can see, I've got 0.2% pollutant as a result of using all the spray cans. All right, let's make the colorful pipe wall, as you just called it. And I only really need 3 colors, so 3 insulated, 3 uninsulated of the colors, so I don't have to keep spraying. Yeah, I don't use steam enough that I think it matters. Oxygen. Waldles. And CO2. Cool. So I have my master pipes. Done. Let's make some more air conditioners so we can speed up the process. Thanks for the cheer for the colorful pipe wall. And then once the CO2 gets to a cooler than the base's temp, I can hook up the heat exchangers. How difficult is it to filter all the pollutants out for the base's atmo? Easy. Which is why I'm not even bothering to do it right now. But now that I have the master pipes, let's just do that. So what you'd want is a portable air scrubber. A portable scrubber. And the portable scrubber can do that very efficiently. Let's stick Invar, solder. I almost said the L. Solder, not solder. And then steel. Where'd I put my steel? Where is it? Is it on the... Yeah, it's on the ground. Alright, we're going to be... I'm going to need to grab the master pipe color for yellow. So this is how you use it. You grab the yellow pipe. And then... Oops. Add it to the stack, and now they're all yellow pipes. So when I'm plumbing with carbon dioxide, now they're all yellow. And I just don't want to use up the last one, because then it, doesn't work. I'm going to change the way this is laid out to be a little bit more elegant. And just so I don't screw it up, I'll stick a master pipe on the wall here as a backup. So yeah, you could, and then we'll need a waste pipe it here, but no problem. Oh, there's my portable scrubber. I was like, where'd it go? So building the portable scrubber, you stick a battery in here and a filter in there, and it will filter out the things you don't want. So filter, we want to filter out pollutant. I'll grab one of the smaller batteries. It doesn't really matter. And now, this thing will pull all the pollutant in the base into itself. So as you can see, the pollutant in my base is going bye-bye fast. Leave that on for a little bit and it will get, the base will be cleaned of pollutant. So although it is bad form to use spray paints inside, you can fix it pretty easily. Hey, Lemonade, thank you for the resub. Yep, so we are all pollutant-free. So now this thing has all the pollutant, the 4.5 moles of pollutant. And if you want, you can open this thing to outgas it. And then it would, like, outgas, like, it's best to do outside. And again, it's very dangerous to move around portable things through airlocks. It's a murder hazard. So, I'm not going to do that right now. It's probably best to have it attached to a base and then, like, vent it out. And I can set that up later. But for now, I could just move this thing around where it's needed. We're going to leave it right now. I can leave it here for right now. No, maybe not there. Here? That's fine. That doesn't get in the way. Alright, let's hook up the second AC. And I'm going to poll you guys whether you want me to add more AC. Should I add a third and fourth AC to the coolant loop? Is there a bigger door? Yes, there are bigger doors if you want bigger doors. The bigger the door, the longer it takes to cycle an airlock, which is why you don't typically see me use the big doors, because they take longer. But there's way big doors if you want way big doors. Yeah. Ultimately, when you have, like, when you try to trade with the biggest traders, the traders that are, like, that have the most rare stuff, those traders require your entire landing pad to essentially be, like, atmosphered, which means they need to, like, land in a, what would you even call that? Like a pressurized cabin, or I don't even know what there's probably a term for it. Like a hangar? Yeah, a pressurized hangar. Something like that. Alright, so second AC loop is done. Temp of the CO2 is 70. Now, anytime we pull more CO2 from the atmosphere, it's just going to ruin the temperature again. But we are going for volume. Volume is important because volume helps protect from temp shock. And it looks to me like you guys want more AC in the loop. What I might end up doing is making this bigger, perhaps. There's still a little bit of pollutant around the base. Like, tiny bits. And sometimes it can help to move the scrubber around to scrub it all out. Again, it tries to equalize all the air everywhere, so, like, eventually it will get cleaned up. Okay, let's do 2 more ACs. And I might need to make room, because I'm not sure there's... I guess there's walking space. Will be cramped. But I'll have the ACs reversed, so they're drawing from the same power plug. And if you're wondering, like, a millimole of pollutant is not going to hurt me. If I was to breathe it. Can't even read how much water there's in there. Oh, 3.7 liters? Nice! Water break! So the reason why I'm playing on the hardest difficulty is well, one, I just like the challenge, but two, everything you're going to need on easier moons or easier places where you're going to live is also covered by here too. So like the hardest difficulty is everything you see me do is still applicable to like an easier zone. So there's really no advantage to me playing on, like, the moon or something like that, because it's all of what I've done here minus some of it. So here's my 2 Atmos. 2 more Atmos. Okay, the waistlines there are workable. So that's fine. So 4 Atmos for the base. The base's coolant loop. That works. Well, it's good the habit of moving this thing around with the paint. Yeah, at this point, I've played virtually all of the Stationeers zones, just at different phases of the game. I would say, ultimately, like, the difference between them all is negligible. Once you've done a hot, no ice, and a cold, you've covered them all, in my opinion. Because not having ices is challenging, but once you've done it, there's not a lot of value in doing it again. And then being really cold is challenging because it wears the hell out of your batteries, and power generation early game is like very critical. Once you've done it, there's not a lot of value in doing it again. So, if you want more, I could keep playing. I'm just not sure what I would do next, because I've, you know, kind of done the challenging ones. All right. Have I managed to get rid of the pollutant? I think so. I think there's no more pollutant anywhere. So, almost 5 moles of pollutant. I'm not picking up any additional pollutant anywhere. Yeah, so we're done with the pollutant scoop. Took a minute to capture it all, but it all got cleaned up eventually. Hey, Darkwind. Thank you for the resub. Now, truth be told, this amount of AC is probably overkill unless I'm oh god, the hell just... Oh, my portable battery went dead. I was like, is this death? Have I died? No, I just let my battery die. Much better. 4 is probably overkill, but, you know, it's not too expensive to do 4, so why not? Alright, now all I need to do is waistlines. So I am going to dye them orange. The pipes ahead on me. And run this waistline out. Color coding is definitely useful in this instance. It's why I took the time to spray, because it would be a lot harder to follow without it. Alright. Waistlines are done. The electrical's done, and I think we just need to flick this on. There's not a lot of room for walking. So before I commit to setting up these heat exchangers, I'm going to expand the base once again so that it's not cramped as hell. And what temp is it? 64 and dropping. And I've got 9 kilomoles. Not bad at all. Alright, for me to expand out again, I'm going to want 3 walls. Also forgot to turn off my landing stuff. Not that I think power is a problem. Do I have flat walls over here? I've got the sheets, but not the walls. Okay. A hypothetic... Oh, this is beyond the farm. Never mind. And I can't forget that the farm will need fresh water in a canister soon. So, let's not forget about that. And then 6 steel frames is exactly how much I need, but I need more sheets than I currently have. I need 12. I'll print out 6 more. Which is 13, I know, but it's because it rounds down. Color-coded tanks. Very, very... Oh, I forgot to dye that orange. But I don't care. Color-coded tanks are really, really nice. I don't run the risk of putting the tank in the wrong thing. which I was very fearful of because it would screw a lot of stuff up. Alright, while I'm out here, might as well check. So I don't think there was anything... Yeah, depart. I already sold him the mining belt. No, I'll check for a new trader in a minute. So to make room for the heat exchangers, 3 more. Oh, I forgot the other walls I'm gonna need. That was stupid. Well, I guess I could put the roofs on now. So we'll need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to finish. 5 flat walls, that is. Also, my arc welder battery is looking a little sad. The arc welder burns through power. So if you don't have a large battery in there, you're like weld 3 things and you'll be dead. Appliances, sure. Not enough energy. Alright, let's try to angle it better. I'm doing 1 degree at a time because the thing goes slow to figure out if I'm going in the right direction. So that was worse. Alright, I'm not gonna bother standing here. I'll just make... You know what I should do? I should make big adjustments and then come back. So I want to see if I'm going in the right direction here. And then I'll make bigger adjustments if it's better than 87. No, it's worse. So I'll point, like, it down and see if that's better. There is, if you're wondering, IC code that you can run in order to do that stuff for you. If you don't like tinkering with it. In this run, I'm not using IC, so it's moot. Yeah, so I needed 5 flat walls. And we're down to 50. So it's almost the same temperature as the base. And that was a lot faster. Because, obviously, the base has been hot for a very, very long time. So this should allow us to, you know, fix the atmosphere in the base so that it's less messed up constantly. Hydration's low. Let's fix that. This was a mega project. I know you haven't had a chance to vote on something new in a long time. Oops. Wrong thing. And it was because I've been using the base's Atmo as like a heat sink for a long time, which is... I acknowledged at the time that it was a stopgap, and it would catch up, the problems would catch up with me, and, you know, they finally did, and we cooked our base. All right. Did that help? 72. No, it really didn't. I might give up on trying to contact the appliance person if it's going to be annoying. At this point, I have enough money for like a wheat seed or a soy seed. And the reason for wheat and soy is once you have wheat and soy, you can make bread, and bread is a better nutritional thing to eat than baked potatoes, allowing my hydration to go above 100%, which would allow me to not have to hydrate as frequently. So that's the advantage of making like more complex carbs. And if we increase the power that the satellite dish can draw from, you can potentially contact more people, as I'm sure you just saw. But I am doing a piss poor job of contacting. So this little oxygen symbol means that the landing pad needs to be oxygenated, not something I can accommodate. And I can only, the landing pad itself is only a 5x5, so I can't even do the 6x6s anyway. But if we don't allow a lot of wattage, then it limits who we can even see on the board. So I'll give it 1500 watts. My waste tank's almost full, so I'm gonna stop rotating this. And we didn't get any closer to contact the appliances. I'm gonna reset this to 0 degrees 45 vert and check in later. How much did my heavy drill use? 14%? Alright. We have a lot more space for the heat exchangers now. It won't be cramped. So we can build comfortably. I'm somewhat purposefully not trying to make it, like, super clean. Because seeing all the nuts and bolts is, like, part of the charm, in my opinion. Hiding it all behind, like, walls or whatever, like, is just not the aesthetic I'm trying to approach. Base pressure is pretty low, but, like, it's not making my suit work harder, so that part doesn't really matter. So we have space for all the heat exchangers. That's perfect. The temperature of the coolant is about the same as the base. So my oxygen's 44, my carbon dioxide is empty. I really don't have any CO2. Crap. We're gonna have to pull in CO2. And obviously it's gonna be hot as hell CO2. So we'll just keep pulling in CO2 until that filter dies, maybe? Well, what's gonna happen is, actually, you know what? This is a really good first use case for the heat exchangers. So what I'm gonna do is remove the radiator pipes from the CO2. So the CO2 we're pulling in is going to be hot. Intentionally hot. So this CO2 is going to be approaching, I don't know, 145 or whatever, and I'm going to pull in enough that it destroys the filter. And the first heat exchange that we set up will be for our CO2 so that I can actually replenish the plants. So checking on the plants right now. Plants are fine. They have plenty of CO2 in there. It is low pressure. It's down to 67 kPa, but it's still above 50, so it's like not killing the plants or anything like that. Maybe what we'll do is color code the heat exchange. I don't know whether I want to color. Maybe I won't color code the heat exchangers. I was thinking of having them be color coded based upon the gases that they filter. But we'll see the red, white, and yellow feeding into them, so that's kind of moot. So the next thing we're going to need is a whole bunch of insulated pipes for running our carbon dioxide line over there. So let's get that now. And checking up on our CO2 amount. Yep, there it is. We have CO2, but it's hot. It's bad. We wouldn't want to introduce 145 degrees CO2 into our farm. That would be really bad for the farm. All right, we are going to want... If we're moving CO2 around, we're going to want yellow pipes. So I'll grab this backup master yellow pipe. And it's a little weird because I have two separate networks of CO2. But we're going to grab this. What we're going to want is heat exchange this CO2 with this CO2. So it's a little weird that it's like CO2 on both ends. So for these heat exchangers, input 1 is going to be... the coolant, and the input 2 will always be the stored gas that we want to cool. So now the coolant, which is at it's a little warmer. It's at 54 Celsius because we at night we pull in fresh CO2, and it's currently night, so we've been adding to it. Is all set, and then we have to snake this CO2 out to the coolant line. Which is probably easiest to go from here. Maybe I'll have it go up, so it doesn't ruin the view. Coolant is at 55, and this is at 150.
Waste tank caution.
And when I connect them up, they'll equalize to one another, cooling down the CO2 so I can introduce it into the farm. So here we go. You can see the temperature of the CO2 that I have stored in the tank rapidly dropping. And it's going to equalize with our coolant. And because our coolant is of much higher volume, the coolant can take a lot more of the heat. And that's essentially the system. And we just need to roll this system out for the other two gases, for volatiles and oxygen. And that way we stop using the base as a heat sink and instead only use the... And let me stop intaking fresh CO2. Then the base gets less temperature shocked. It will be a lot more thermally stable. Can you rename a pipe network? No, you cannot. How much more oxygen do I have? 316 moles? 180 moles? Can I check my 4 AC units running? On. 100%, 100%, efficiency, pressure efficiency, 100%. Yep, full efficient running. And my carbon dioxide is already down about almost 100 degrees. That is the value of this system. It's really good at cooling things down. I knew it would be. So this CO2 is hot, but not so hot that it's going to be a risk. So I'm just going to print 32 more insulator pipes so I can complete the heat circuit. But let's go ahead and flush fresh CO2 into the farm because it's going to want it. And my ferns are almost ready to go seeding. So I don't want to overheat it. Actually, it's fine. It's only 34 C in here, 35. That's fine. And these are growing moderately well towards seeding. Ferns are fine. So you know how I like absolutely refuse to try to do more analysis about like the fern's happiness? Yeah, I didn't need to. We still have a liter and a half, a little bit more of water in here, so it's not urgent that I add more water. It would be a good idea to do a big batch of water at some point and then fill up this tank. And the reason why this isn't connected to the rest of the system is I want it isolated so that it can't like I can't, oopsie, super hot water all of a sudden out of nowhere and, like, kill my plants. So, because it's manual, it's safer. Because I have to manually fill a water tank, I know how warm the water is, and therefore I know it won't kill the plants. And I want it like that. Because it's like brain sanity check. Because if there wasn't, like, a brain sanity check, we could run into a situation where I kill my plants, and if my plants are gonna die, I want to be the one. I want to be the one to kill it. I don't want like some oopsie semi-automated system to kill it. I might have just ran out of CO2 though. Yep, I just used it all. Okay, filtering more. Just gonna clean a little bit of this up. Because sometimes if you let too much print up, it like starts to get violent. There we go, cleaned it up. All right, let's hydrate and then hook up the rest of the coolant loops. I might not put in the last pipe until my coolant tank is a little bit more thermally stable, meaning that we're not like regularly adding to it. The danger of continuous deployment, yes. What I'm hoping to do in the long run is to set up the base so that I very slowly pull atmospheric CO2 and I very slowly always make water and stuff like that. Having like volume pumps set to a tiny volume for trickles so that there's no thermal shock, but that there's a constant replenishment. That is a later down goal, you know, a goal for the future, but a goal all the same. All right, for the rest of the coolant loops, let's go hook up their left sides. And now all my pipes can be either red or white. I still have a master yellow. I don't have a master yellow. Glad I checked. All right. I think I'm out of silicon. Yes. Let's do, I guess it really doesn't matter whether we do volatiles or oxygen. And the reason why I'm doing volatiles and oxygen is having volatiles and oxygen at the same temperature allows us to make fuel correctly. If it's the wrong temperature, you don't get fuel. You get fuel plus too much oxygen that doesn't combust, or fuel plus too many volatiles that don't combust. So you want them in equal temperatures so you can ratio them equally. Technically, you don't need that. You have to figure it out in terms of volume, and then that's like complicated math that I just don't want to do. It's not worth it. It's way easier just to do it this way. That should be running, shouldn't it? I wonder how long that hasn't been running. I have no idea. Okay. Let's run... What is the temperature of this? 48? Yeah, you know what? I honestly... It's only 45 in the base. I could hook up my oxygen and my volatiles to it. I think it's reasonable to do. So, it's daytime right now. I'm out of silicon, so I'm going to use the advantage of it being daytime to grab silicon so that I can make more insulated pipes. And I apologize if you've wanted me to take on other projects. I know this has monopolized my time considerably. It was just one of those things that just takes a while. Now, if I'm quick, is it midday and heating? No, it's cooling. Crap. All right, I'm gonna have to arc furnace this stuff then. Yeah. It's fine. Haven't checked the trader in a bit. Let's do a 5x5. Not enough energy. Let's do the... Oh, jeez. Let's do the 5x5. 46 seconds until it's interrogated. That's fine. So this is why I have this battery on its own, so that it can't drain the batteries for the base, because interrogating contacts from far away is very, very, very power hungry. So I separated it out for that reason. Because it would be terrible to have a brown or blackout by trading too hard. That'd be pretty silly. Thank you for tuning in to Stationeers Brutal Vulcan, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhodamont.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhodamont.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you in next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow Stationeer survivors.